What I am telling you is not predictive. It is descriptive. Go to the mall. Yo, I go to the mall and Hot Topics got Nightmare Before Christmas. What year did that movie come out? 1993 or something?
Yeah.
And I see Gen Alpha, Gen Z wearing like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. And I'm like, they don't have their own, like you were saying, generational identity.
They don't.
We do. Night Before Christmas, that was millennial.
And I think it's because they have to spend all their time
Gen
online.
X, man. I'm Gen X.
Well,
I'm Gen X.
How old are you?
Oh, 10.
Well, you said you're Gen X. You got to answer.
I'm a zillennial, so I'm in between.
But so you were old enough to be part of the people who were wearing the Jack Skellington shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy now to see young people making videos where they're wearing Nirvana and Night Before Christmas. Now, don't get me wrong. When I was growing up, I also had like my mom had we had a bunch of Zeppelin shirts, Grand Funk Railroad, whatever, Doobie Brothers. I don't know. I didn't know any of that stuff was 80s music, but it's different. It's because you go to the mall and it's not modern new stuff. Right. When I was a kid, and went to the mall. Night Before Christmas was new. You went to Hot Topic and it was like, here's new things. Right. Now I go in, it's Bleach and Naruto, and I'm like, dude, that was 20 years ago.
It stalled.
I don't even know what that is.
They stalled, which I think is crazy.
I don't know if it stalled so much. I feel like it's nostalgia is like a drug of complacency, and a lot of people, definitely. Like a lot of millennials and people our age, even older and younger, they just want to live like Tim's saying as adult babies. So they are dressing themselves like they did when they were babies.
I think that explains older people, but for Gen Z, they should be serving up something that they can replace, right? Well, and they're not. And I think some of that, and this is just my maybe touch grass moment here, but I think some of it is because they spend so much time online looking for what's trendy instead of going out and making trendy things.
They're even on a worse drug. That's regurgitated.
There's no nucleus.
No, there's nothing.
No, and to be fair, COVID wrecked some of it for Gen Z, because the leaders of Gen Z all had to then go home and then spend more time on the internet and not with each other.
And they're just like Googling stuff. So, that's why Y2K took off. We're wearing Y2K stuff because that was then when they were kids, and look at us like retro.
I learned this like Gen Z pause. When you make a video, you know how sometimes they're like, hi, the Gen Z pause, hi. Like there's so many rules,
or they put text really small on videos. That's something that millennials don't do.
To the point,
but it's to make you look at the thing for longer.
Right.
I mean, they're crazy, but it's all driven by social media in a way that no generation has been.
1990 was the 90s were the last decade.
I love the 90s.
90s were peak human existence.
It was the last.
It was the
peak America.
There's younger people listening who are like those old.
Tell me about the 90s, guys.
Yeah,
listen.
Paris Hilton, man, the juicy couture.
Everybody can argue about the generation they like, and for millennials and Gen Xers who had like formative years in the 90s are going to say the 90s were great. The 80s were kind of weird. The 70s had their time, the 60s had their time, but these are discernible generations, or decades. You look at styles, someone can show you a picture of a living room and you'll be like, oh, that was the 50s. 100%. Someone can show you the picture of a diner and be like, that's 70s. Someone can show you a picture of a guy, just a guy wearing clothes, and you'll be like, that was the 80s. He's wearing like neon leopard print hot pants, and you're like, we know when that was.
Feathery hair.
And the 90s.
Yep.
And then the 2000s happened. And there are some things like, how about, I say some things because
skinny jeans and ballet flats.
No, it started to break apart.
Yeah.
So wearing a long sleeve shirt with a short sleeve shirt over it, but that only was in certain areas of the millennial generation.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder if it's because of the internet, but we're downstairs hanging out in the green room before the show, and I'm like, I tell the TV to play top songs from the 80s. And everybody knows the songs, and it's like Shout comes on, and of course, Tears for Fears, and I'm like, just put on Tears for Fears on loop, baby.
I was like 90s. It was like Audio Slave. I think you were playing.
What were we playing? No. I was playing.
Soundgarden.
No, it was Toadies, Possum Kingdom.
Oh, nice.
And Do You Wanna Dance?
Yeah,
Love that song.
I love that song.
And so I'm driving in my car, and we put on 90s playlist. Every song that comes on, we're like, man, I know this song. And then I was like, well, we've done 80s, we've done 70s, because the 70s, you got a bunch of hits, of course. And then I said, put on hits from the 2000s. I knew none of it.
Wow. Well, 2000s is like Britney Spears, NSYNC,
sort of.
I don't know who else.
But wasn't that late 90s?
Ja Rule.
I think of that as being early.
Yeah,
it was late.
but into the early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah, Nelly. It was much more
When was
pop.
Usher big? He was around for a minute.
Usher, he's about to be big again because of the halftime show.
Yes, there's no stopping Usher.
I think it's the internet.
Creed. Jack Posobiec. Creed.
That's
I think
90s.
That was
Creed is 90s for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the internet.
Yeah.
And what happened was the reason we all knew these songs is because there was only like 5 places to get the songs.